Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Murg Mayhem on this fine Monday, February 26th, where one take can cause mayhem. I'm sorry I wasn't able to post or upload a video on Friday's episode. I wasn't able to, just due to some life stuff. Yeah, as everybody should probably understand. But yeah, I missed Fiction Friday, so we'll put Fiction Friday into this episode with Movie Monday as well. But we're going to do that toward the end of the show. So, lots of stuff happened over the weekend as far as like free agent signings and NBA basketball is back from the long All-Star break. So we're going to open up, actually, instead of baseball like I always normally do, we're going to start off with NBA. NBA season's back. First night back. It was a special show for Luka and the Mavs. Both put up 70 against the Suns. Beal was not playing during that game, but when you have Luka and Kyrie combining for 70 with all the role players playing, it's going to be hard for even Phoenix to win. And Phoenix had Devin Booker and Durant combined for about 40 to 50, but I mean it wasn't even close. That night, the Lakers and Warriors also played as well, and both teams going into the third quarter / fourth. I mean, it was getting bad to where it was going to be a blowout, and that's what. And it was a blowout going into the fourth quarter with the Lakers and Warriors game. What I was going to report on Friday, obviously with these two games I just mentioned, Isaiah Stewart. I know I covered that he was going to get a suspension. He got suspended for 3 games, punching Drew Eubanks in the face. Tonight he'll be facing his last game during the suspension. He's had history with trying to fight LeBron, and some other notable players. I mean, in his absence, Jalen Duren has been playing exceptionally well, and I hope that either he figures it out, Stewart, or just get him off the bench, because with the production that Jalen Duren is having on the team, like I said earlier, he should be the starting big going forward in just him, so he can have Fatecchio, who's come over since the trade deadline, has been shooting the ball lights out, and has given an extra shooter for Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey to dish out to, with Thompson in that dunker spot toward the mid-range block. So until Thompson learns how to shoot, I mean, that it's going to be kind of like a high school level format, I guess, or a look. But yeah, that's all that happened Friday. I'll get Fiction Friday, like I said, at the end. Over the weekend, DeMarcus Cousins had something to say. He went on a podcast. Unfortunately, he is not going to be in the NBA any longer, or at least he was happy with it. I just want to give you some career numbers for him. He did go to Kentucky with John Wall. Both got drafted the same year, and it's just unfortunate with DeMarcus Cousins. When he got into the league, at 20, he was a one and I think he was a one and done. If not, he went there 2 years. But he's in his prime. No one could really stop him. He was I think, in my opinion, he was the first stretch 5. He was able to shoot the 3. He wasn't the greatest shooter. I mean, he shot like 33% for his career, but he was no Kristaps Porzingis, so yeah, he was the first stretch 5 we saw. But he was a guy that no one could stop in the paint, bully ball, double team, dish out, but he did play for the Kings. And that's just where most of his unfortunate career started, was you're not going to get in the playoffs. You're the best player on the team. We're going to make the other guys beat you. But that he was unstoppable. Third in the and Rookie of the Year. He was on the All-Rookie team, 2-time All-NBA, 4-time All-Star, and then from the span of 2014 to 2018, he was an All-Star, and he was on the second he was a All NBA second team. But yeah, and then he got traded to New Orleans. He and AD were just destroying everyone because you didn't know who to guard. You just couldn't guard both of them. And DeMarcus Cousins is a better 3-point shooter than Anthony Davis. So you got to see some of his three pointers attempted go up just because you have two guys down there, and then unfortunately, with his luck, he tears his Achilles. Comes back that next year, signs with Golden State for a ring. Plays 30 games for them. Then that next year, boom, ACL. And he just he wasn't able to, I guess he didn't really get a fair shot after those two injuries. And yes, I know that, you're an all-star and, you might not be able to do the things that you might have done as far as get off, run up and down the floor, because he's, 7-footer and about 260 pounds. So, but I just don't think he got a fair shot coming back from those two injuries. And, he went to Houston, thought he was going to play. Then he got traded to the Clippers. And, that next year he just kept going on different teams. And, I feel for him just because, after those years with, that small stint with New Orleans, he played a little bit with Golden State. And then, that was the year when Kawhi beat them in the finals. But if KD and Klay Thompson get hurt, he was going to be a champion, and his name would have been in the discussion for a Hall of Fame, because we never saw a guy that could play like this when he started. But yeah, he's also known for his mouth. He got a lot of technicals, but that's just because, sometimes he would just do this, and he wouldn't even look at somebody, and they just tee him up. So, but yeah, he started this stretch 5 evolution, in my opinion, coming in 2010. So, he's playing in China right now, but hopefully, somebody will actually give him a fair shot and come back in the NBA. But if not, he had a really good career in the NBA, and I hope all is well with DeMarcus Cousins. So, and then, there's games that happened over the weekend. Going into last night's, because covering Saturday and Sundays is just, it's a lot, but I basically have to make a video specifically on those 2 days. But we're going to start off with the Warriors and Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets, like I've always said, is the best team in the West. I mean, Jokic triple-double last night, 32, 16, 16, 4 steals and a block. So, yeah, you had him just only missing 8 shots. No, 11 shots. Couldn't do math. Very efficient. And then Jamal Murray only missed 7, scoring 27. Porter had an off night last night, but, that's okay, because when you have Aaron Gordon go off for 17 and KCP go for 13, that's that's just fine. The bench didn't really score as much as I would have liked to see. Obviously, it's a game, but Christian Brown or Braun, what, I don't know how to say it. It looks like it's Braun, but sometimes the announcers say Christian Brown, whatever. 7, that's the highest on that bench, and Curry, 6 of 19, didn't shoot well at all, but made most of his points at the line. 1 of 10 from 3. Thompson scored 23, I think, in the first half, and then just wasn't able to get another shot down in the second. But he scored 23. He led his team in scoring. But like I said, I love this role that he's got now, just because his release is already quick, and having somebody have to guard him come off the bench, not a lot of guys can do that. Can basically play starter minutes coming off the bench and still line it up like he can. So, but yeah, he scored 23. And then the bench, other than Thompson, only scored 16 points, while the other bench scored 9, 11, 14, 21. I mean, the discrepancy is not that much, but for them, it's the turnovers. Golden State's always had a problem with turnovers this year, and with points in the paint, Golden State's not a points in the paint team. Denver is, but they just got out. They barely got out rebounded, but Golden State just didn't shoot the ball well last night, and just a neck and neck game. And then Denver just ended up pulling away with it. That's just basically what happened. Jokic was Jokic last night, and that's all that happened there. The Bucks played the 76ers. Didn't really care because Embiid wasn't playing, and Giannis dropped 30, almost with triple-double. The Lakers and Suns. Lakers have been Lakers. It's frustrating. I don't understand why the Lakers are so frustrating to watch. I don't understand. Like, Beal wasn't playing once again. The one thing that I am happy about is Bol was finally getting more chances to play. He got 11 points with 2 blocks and 4 rebounds last night. He's gonna be a piece for them going forward that has to at least give you 10 to 15 points off the bench for Phoenix because of the new rules. It's gonna make it much harder for Phoenix to get those free agents. Because one, they don't have the assets right now to do that, and they have so much money going into Durant, Beal, and Booker that they financially just won't be able to. But yeah, Durant off shooting night, 22. That's off shooting night. He went 7 of 20 and still was able to score 22. But more on Kevin Durant in a second. He had 22, 7, and 5. Devin Booker, 21, 9 assists last night. Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen have been having. Royce O'Neal's been playing very well with Phoenix, and Grayson Allen has had a career year this year. As far as 3-point line, went 50% from there, and was able to have the team high with 24. But yeah, the Lakers, man, like I don't understand. Like, they had a 3-point lead. That was the largest lead they had, and Phoenix had a 20-point lead. I don't I don't know if it's defense, because they're a terrible defensive team as far as everybody else, because it just seems like the only guys that are playing defense is AD. But I mean, I know defense is hard, and especially in this NBA where everyone's talented and everyone is being able to shoot the ball, and it's harder for the defender to at least put up a contest and everything. But I feel like also the free throw discrepancy there as well. 8 free throws compared to 19. I don't understand how that happened. Rebounds, Phoenix somehow out-rebounded the Lakers. That is astounding to me, that the Lakers have at least Jackson Hayes to come off the bench, get some rebounds. Phoenix all year has had a size issue. They're allowing Bol to play a little bit more, so he's going to get some rebounds. but he's their tallest. He's their tallest guy. He's their tallest guy, and the next big is Nurkic, and then the third string, I guess, if you were to put it third string, but a center, the other center that they have is Drew Eubanks, and he's 6'9", and they out rebounded the Lakers 51-34. That's embarrassing, and I I I don't know. The Lakers are the Lakers. They're a playing team, so if they were to play today, I think they would play the ninth seed. No, they would play the eighth seed, and it's not the Kings. The Kings are seventh, but I don't remember who. I don't remember the standings. But Mavs and Pacers, same thing. Turnover issue, for the most part. Most of these games I'm talking about, I wasn't able to watch, but I was able to look at the stats to at least figure out an assumption. Just because in Tennessee, we're definitely not going to be able to pay for a Mavericks television. But I know I could probably get League Pass or whatever, but I just don't have the current financials to do that. But turnover issue, fast break points, and Indiana was able to just move up and down just because of their youth. Cavaliers, Wizards, Jordan Poole scored 31, so he's coming back a little bit better, but in a more bench role like he was at Golden State. But Cleveland, just all out better team, and their wild card, I guess. And I've said it obviously I haven't said it for years on this show, but Evan Mobley has been an underrated player in this league since he's been in. Should have won Defensive Player of the Year a few years ago. He's a center slash power. He's a power forward, but he could play center. He can guard all positions 1 through 5, and he scored 20 points last night, 21 or so, 21, 5 blocks, a steal, and 6 boards. So with him and Allen being those, I want to say twin towers like Hakeem and Samson, but I mean, with those two guys on the front line, it's an imposing it's an imposing force if you were to come in the paint. But yeah, they just scored more, bench scoring. I mean, Jordan Poole played starter minutes, so. But as far as the other bench guys, went from 17 to almost 30 points for Cleveland. So that's what happened there. And plus, I really don't give a fuck about Washington because they're 9-48. There's no incentive for me to watch other than watching Corey Kispert shoot, to be honest. I know Kyle Kuzma's there, but, I mean, whatever. Hawks, Trae Young didn't play last night, but Magic lost strictly to free throw shooting and turnovers as well. Thunder, the Rockets, SGA almost had like 40 points. Holmgren almost had 30. And key contributors off the bench. And Kings and Clippers played last night. Domantas Sabonis, I watched a little bit of that game before I had some shut-eye last night. But Sabonis had a rough first half. But he ended up finishing the game with 17 points, 15 boards, and 12 assists with 3 steals. And then Fox ended up scoring 33, De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk come off the bench, providing that bench scoring that he's done since he's gotten there. Keegan Murray, 11. Didn't shoot the ball as far as Keegan Murray's standards, but he ended up getting 11. Harrison Barnes, 22, very efficient since he's been in the league. And Kevin Huerter, 15 points. So yeah, that was that game. And then, it's just Paul George didn't play last night either. And so that's also another reason why they lost too. And, Kawhi 20, Harden 20. it just came down to bench scoring a little bit and Paul George not playing. Because if Paul George was playing, I feel like the Clippers would have won. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that was the game. Those are the games that at least I wanted to cover, just because of not only the teams that we're playing, but it could give you an overall consensus of what most likely happened. Just because a lot of people aren't able to watch those games if they're not from that state. So, and then I'm not going to really go anything into this game. It's Utah played San Antonio. I'm just want to see and tell you all how Wemby did last night. Wembanyama 22, 27 minutes. Oh my God. He should be playing at least 30 minutes like Chet Holmgren has been playing. Wembanyama hasn't had a significant injury yet. And I know he's 7'5", and I know I've said that, he's 7'5", he can serve his minutes due to his height. But this dude needs to be playing at least 33 minutes. And he's put in the minutes he's playing, he's putting up 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks, a steal, and 2 assists last night. While Vassell, 27, I know he's scored a little bit more points, and he's a guard. Trey Jones is the point guard and everything. Sohan should not be playing more than Wembanyama. No. And Bram is 28. I don't understand. I don't understand the minutes restriction that he's had this year, but I'm not in the Spurs organization, so as Eric Spoelstra would say in that interview with Ramon Shelburne, I'm just a watcher. So whatever. But yeah, we're gonna go straight into the baseball right now. Lots of free agent signings happened over the weekend, and we're gonna start off with the least significant ones, and then we're gonna go, and then just gonna ramp up until we get to the I'm trying to say, the big ones, whatever. So Tony Kemp got signed to the Cincinnati Reds. What does he bring? Basically, just veteran leadership, and that's it. He's 32. He played with the Astros when they were on up and come up. Played with them in 2018 in the regular season, and then that was the year that Boston was able to beat them and get their World Series since, I believe, 2013. And then after that, he got traded to the Cubs, played there for a little while, then went to Oakland, and he's been in Oakland ever since. Last year, hit 209 with him. He's not going to be a power guy, but he's just been a good role player, I guess, if you were to give baseball players a role or give that title. But I know he can play, not only because he played at Vanderbilt, but from the season of 2021 and 2022, he's, as far as average, he's not going to. 2021, he had a 280 average, which is decent. But then 2022, his average wasn't there, but he got on base enough, and he had basically almost 120 hits. So, that was 117 is his career high hits as far as a single season. But yeah, he's just going to be that veteran guy to help develop the young guys. Nick Ahmed got signed to the Giants with a minor league deal. Now, I know Brandon Crawford's still a free agent, and we're going to get to him a little bit later, but yeah, he got signed with the Giants. Played 72 games with Arizona. He's on his way out, in my opinion, just because if in Arizona, that's where he's spent most of his career. But Perdomo is their new shortstop, and they're probably going to make him the everyday shortstop, and primarily to develop him because he's a switch hitter, and they made the World Series with him. So yeah, that's just basically what happened with Ahmed, and he's just been a defensive shortstop throughout his whole career. Ahmed has, two-time Gold Glove winner, and but yeah, he's going to the Giants. That's that's all I have to say about him. If I just don't keep rambling the same old stuff, but Garrett Cooper, one of the another a good underrated signing for Chicago. Chicago's getting Garrett Cooper, All-Star in 2022. 2022 season he hit 261, OPS above average. So he has 752 OPS. Didn't He had a good first half, and then second half he kind of dipped a little bit, but 260 average nowadays, that's a decent average now. So, and then last year it had Yuli Gurriel at first, and he was more of the DH, but he hit 250 average hitter as far as OPS is concerned, and then he went from Miami to San Diego, and even in San Diego, I thought he was going to be able to help him out in some way, but not really. But yeah, he's going to Chicago on a minor league deal, so yeah, hopefully he gets some playing time and gets back to that all-star game this year and bounce back from last year. And the biggest signing about time, I've been harping on this guy to get signed since free agency. CODY Bellinger finally got signed. Over the weekend. 3 years, $80 million. You know, we've talked about him. Elite defender. Last year, he finally got back to his old self as far as being able to hit with two strikes and a contact hitter from 2019, and he revitalized his career last year, and hopefully it stays that way. I hope that he doesn't have to be that what if, like I was talking about Jazz Chisholm, because in 2019, or Dale Murphy is a perfect example of what happened. Dale Murphy, two-time back-to-back MVP, and then he just was never the same player again. And so, but yeah, he hit 307 last year, over 800 OPS, and I Silver Slugger, top 10 MVP voting last year, and yeah, almost drove in 100, almost hit 30 homers, 20 stolen base season. You know, so hopefully he can bounce back and stay consistent. And I know that he was probably dealing with a shoulder injury, but he looks way better than he did last year, and I'm happy about it. Just as a baseball fan, and you know, I watched him with the Dodgers, and he was one of that 2019 season. I feel like he was the most dangerous hitter that year, because it seemed like you couldn't get anything by him. You couldn't really strike him out, because if you didn't strike him out, he was going to put the ball in play. Or if you did strike him out, you were lucky. He had 108 strikeouts, and he walked 95 times. So that, you know, like total bases, he had 351 total bases. He had 21 intentional walks. Not a lot of people get intentionally walked nowadays, but he led the league in 2019 intentional walks. 47 homers, almost 50, 115 RBIs. Like, that was in 1,000 OPS. Like, he was the most dangerous hitter in that. I don't want to say feared either, but yeah, if I was facing CODY Bellinger in the later half of the game, and it was tied, man, I'd be I'd be so scared. or at least not scared. I'd be nervous because I didn't want to give up the lead or the tie to this guy. But you know, I could harp on Bellinger all day long, watching him that year. But yeah, well deserved. 3 years, 80. But yeah, we'll see what happens this year. And then there's one free agent. He's still out on the market, and I don't want to see this guy change uniforms just because I just feel like he should be with this team for life. And his name is Brandon Crawford. Brandon Crawford's a 2-time World Series champion, 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, and he won a Silver Slugger in 2015 when one of his All-Star years. He's not a guy that's going to hit like mad crazy as far as average. He's not a power guy either. I think the most he's had homers was in 2021 with 24. Also had 90 RBIs. So that was you would say his best year. He also had 298 too. But yeah, that was his best year last year. Dealt with some injuries. Only played 93 games. But yeah, he should be a guy that should be a Giant for life. I'm not really a Giants fan, just because growing up I was a Cardinal fan, and it just seemed like the Giants were going to be in the playoffs, and they did beat us. Travis Ishikawa sent us home, unfortunately, but yeah, this guy should be a Giant for life. One of the best defensive shortstops we've ever had. And I know people are like, well, what about Honus Wagner? What about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? Like, I didn't watch him play, and in my opinion, Brandon Crawford is one of the better defensive shortstops we've ever had. And, you know, I really don't want to see him in another uniform, but he is linked to the Cardinals. Do I think he's going to sign with the Cardinals? I don't think so. But if he wants to get back in the playoffs, I feel like the Cardinals would be his best bet as far as the NL Central goes, just because I don't think the Brewers have enough starting as far as rotation. Cubs, Stroman left, and Pirates are young, and Cincinnati's young. Even though Cincinnati did have a good shot last year, and they kind of lost it last year. But Brandon Crawford hopefully resigns with the Giants. If not, the Cardinals will definitely take him. But yeah, that's all as far as like signings and everything. Spring training has also been going on. It started, I think, it started Friday. It started Thursday, but most of the teams started playing Friday, and then everyone was playing this weekend. Games are going on right now as we speak. So we're gonna check in on two guys while we're live here, or while I'm talking about it, even though it's gonna be pre-recorded. Other than Colt Keith, who had a good game on Friday, 1 for 3 with a 2 RBI double. So yeah, he played, and then he didn't play the rest of the weekend. He's playing against the Astros right now as this recording is live or going. He's 0 for he's 0 for 1 right now, but we will see. Looks like it's gonna when they go back to hit, it's gonna be 8-9-1. So he's gonna have a chance in the most likely 4th or 5th inning. But another prospect to watch out for is Spencer Jones. One of my former teammates in high school, not Colt Keith, Tate Colwick, who also played with Vanderbilt with him, with Spencer Jones. In 2020, that was the COVID season. Spencer Jones had a tough time, not only with limited playing time, but 2020 and 2021, 21 he was getting a little bit better, but 2020 he was not able to pull the ball whatsoever. It seemed like, if he didn't put it in play, or a walk, he struck out. But that's 14 games, so it was a small sample size. 21, he got a little bit better, but he just still wasn't able to pull the ball consistently. He was able to have that left field opposite field power, but he just wasn't able to get to just reach around. And he's 6'6", 6'7". He's a massive guy, but if he wasn't able to pull a ball and get that power surge, then I just didn't think he was going to be able to have the opportunity to get drafted. And then what do you know? 2022, 12 homers, 60 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, 32 walks. His strikeout to walk ratio is like 50%. And yeah, he improved on pulling the ball. He had some opposite field power as well. He still had that, but he was able to get more pull side in college. And then, he was in the Futures game last year. And the Futures game is like the rising stars for the MLB. And yeah, he hit 267, 16 homers, 66 RBIs. Struck out a little bit more just because it's the pros. He struck out 155 times across two teams, high A and double A. Do I think he has a chance to get called up this year? I really don't think he will, just because you have guys like Jason Dominguez playing, and I know he had surgery last year, but he has a chance to come back this year. But I just feel like those two guys, Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, won't have a lot of time in the big leagues this year. Dominguez with injury, recovering back from that. But the Yankees have Juan Soto, Alex Verdugo, Trent Grisham, and they end up getting one more outfielder. I just don't know who it is, but there's Judge. So there's so many outfielders that they have to where they're going to be, if these two guys were to play, they'd just be bench bats, and if someone got injured, they just call them up. But yeah, that's Spencer Jones. First game, he went 3 for 3 with a homer and 4 RBIs, and then yesterday he replaced Judge and was able to get a walk, and he went 2 for 2. So he's having a good start to spring training right now. I'm also going to see, because the Yankees are playing, I know that since teams are so big, they could split a team and have them split like a travel ball team. So that's what happened yesterday, is that he was playing with Judge and Judge was on a different team. But as of now, the Yankees don't have a hit, but if he is playing, he hasn't gotten in just yet, but he has a chance to get in as far as pinch hitting. But he played in 2 games, so they might give him the day off. But yeah, that's baseball. Baseball is back, and I'm excited. I cannot wait to see baseball again on TV, so I can give my takes on what's going on in the league. And I'm also going to be playing MLB The Show to also help out with my takes, and also just give shout-outs to people that I know. Hopefully Colt Keith is in it this year like he was last year, but we will see. But yeah, that's all the baseball news that we have today. We're gonna get into the spring training 30 ball some other team that I'm going to talk about and see what I give, where I see that where they're going to be, what they are currently constructed, and talk about this team. We're going back to the AL West just because I felt like I started with AL West and then I went to the NL East, and I just want to just get all the teams in the division done. It's a little OCD of me, but that's what I want to do, and it'll be more organized. This is gonna be a short team, to be honest with you. It's the Los Angeles Angels. They are the Lakers because they'll like I in other videos that I've talked about them. They play very well in the first half. Second half, just fucking dog shit. But yeah, their rotation is not bad. It's just when you're in the AL West, it is bad. Tyler Anderson, didn't have a great year last year, coming off of an All-Star season with the Dodgers. Um, you know, because last year with the Dodgers, he had a 1.29 spring. I'm looking at the stats too, like how I was doing, and it went to regular season, and spring training. But yeah, All Star year 2022, 2.57 ERA. Struck out 138 guys in 178 innings, and last year, it his innings were down and his strikeouts were also down. So hopefully he has a bounce back, and hopefully this year was just a fluke. Um, but yeah, he I would say he's not an ace for them, but he pitched a lot of innings for them. Um, Patrick Sandoval is he's a good pitcher. It's just like you're in a league where he doesn't have like it just seems like from what MLB the Show and what what's going on in baseball. If you don't have a sinker or a cutter, it seems like, I mean, or just a nasty slider, you're not going to be in the league for very long. And Patrick Sandoval is a good slider, but it's not like a Shohei Ohtani, Clayton Kershaw slider. But Reed Detmers is there, Griffin Canning, Zach Plesac, uh, signed with the Angels in the offseason. It's just they're young, and except for Anderson, but Griffin Canning's their ace, and and I would say their starting rotations: Griffin Canning, Reed Detmers, Patrick Sandoval, Zach Plesac, and Tyler Anderson. If they want a 5-man rotation, mostly they do 4, but we'll see what happens with Angels because their pitching is so bad. They might as well just give it a 10. 10 starters. We'll figure it out after that. But bullpen is not great at all. That is what has hurt Angels late in games is their bullpen. Carlos Estevez, closer, All-Star last year. Matt Moore, lefty, but he's old and he can't throw like he used to when he was a starter. Adam Kolarek, basically when they play the Yankees, he'll be able to get Juan Soto out. But other than that, Adam Kolarek is a good, decent left-handed arm. Only pitched 5 games last year, 6 innings, 0 ERA for him. I don't remember who he was with last year. He was with 2 teams, but he didn't really pitch very long. I don't know if it was due to injury or if he was with the in the minors, but he pitched 1 game with the Dodgers, and then I guess he got shipped to the Mets. But other than that, that was the last time that everyone heard of him. But yeah, their bullpen is fucking garbage. The only guy that like I love watching to see pitch in this bullpen is Ben Joyce. Ben Joyce, rookie last year, like Garrett Crochet, he was one of the fastest. He got drafted in 2022, and last year he was able to make his debut. Pitched 12 games for him. The only thing with him that is tough is his accuracy. He throws 100 and he can throw it up to 104, 105, but he's basically a guy where he's going to be 98 to 102. But he just needs to be more accurate with his throws around the zone. But he has the stuff. Wipeout slider, plus fastball. But as far as that, I don't know what other pitches he has. He might have a changeup, but that's really, for him, that's all he needs is a fastball, slider, changeup, because his fastball and slider is so advanced already that he just needs to change up and he's fine. Plus his mechanics when he throws the ball, it's so weird. It's very unorthodox because it just seems like he just breaks and then he throws. But yeah, he's a guy that I love watching, just because I saw him in Tennessee and he's the same guy coming into the Angels. So he's the only I would say he's their future closer if they ever get good. Um, but yeah, their bullpen is just not good at all. Catcher, they I felt bad for Francisco Mejia just because they signed him and then they re-signed Chad Wallach and then they just released him, which is unfortunate. But they have 3 catchers and they don't really need a 4th that can play the outfield. And Mejia's trying to go back to Tampa Bay, so hopefully he does that. Logan O'Hoppe is going to be their main catcher. Before he got injured, he was on pace to potentially win Rookie of the Year in the AL, but he got injured, and it definitely you definitely saw it when in the second half when he came back. Nolan Shanuel, he's their first baseman. He got drafted in the 2023 draft, and then the second half they brought him up, and he significantly helped them. He hit 275 and 109 at bats. He didn't play. He played 29 games, so in that small sample size, he walked more than he struck out, had a homer, had 30 hits, drove in 6. So he didn't have like a oh my gosh, he's here type of moment, but he was showing for a rookie that just got drafted, he had an elite performance. So hopefully he's their starting first baseman going forward. And hopefully he doesn't have to go back down anytime soon to the minors. But if he does, Brandon Drury is going to be their first baseman, because I'm trying to see what they're going to do now that Ohtani is gone. There's going to be an open DH slot. So who knows? Brandon Drury could be first base or not. That's the Angels are a giant question mark. Because second base, Luis Rengifo, Brandon Drury, they're going to most likely be the second baseman. Rendon, if he plays, he's going to be third. If not, he's going to be on the bench because he's injured. Zach Neto is the shortstop. He dealt with a lot of confidence issues last year, just because he went to Campbell, and they in the college in the college playoff last year. I don't know if it was a World Series or not, but he had a good showing when he was on TV, or the series that I watched. He performed very, very well. He played 84 games, and he dealt with a lot of injuries too. They just, last year there was a lot of injuries that the Angels dealt with, but hopefully he can play over 100 games, and we can finally see what he can do. Defensively, he's very good, but offensively, we weren't able to see him have a consistent stretch at the plate. So left field, Taylor Ward is most likely going to be their hitter. He won arbitration, so he's going back. Mickey Moniak, I don't know if he's going to be playing left or right field, but they have him as a right fielder on MLB stats, and then they signed Aaron Hicks. So they have a lot of outfielders that they have to figure out who they're going to play and where. Aaron Hicks is probably going to be that DH if Mike Trout's not playing in the outfield, but Aaron Hicks is probably going to be that lefty killer for the most part. Joe Adell, still, we don't know if he's going to be Joe Adell from the minor leagues, but we'll see what happens with him this year. And I didn't want to share the stats just because I don't really know what to show you, to be honest. Um, Basically, you can just take my word for it because that's what the Angels are. I mean, it's a little frustrating. Like I said, they're the Lakers in baseball. Um, that no one. It just seemed like no one played 100 games. No, just regular day starter for the position players played over 100. Mike Trout didn't play over 100. Taylor Ward didn't play over 100. But what's crazy is that Mike Trout, um, or was that 22? I think it might have been 2022. Yeah, last year he played 82 games. 82 games, and I saw the injury where he got hit in the hand, and then they just sidelined him for the rest of the year. I really don't want him to be an Albert Pujols type of player because, and when I say that, Albert Pujols with the shift killed his career as far as Hall of Fame because he was a 300. He was, I think, when he went to the Angels, he was a 310 hitter career, and then when he finished, he was 296. Right now, on the trajectory that Mike Trout is on, he has not been able to fully sustain 100 games since 2019. 2022, uh, he played 119 games, but you know, last year he hit 263, and if he keeps dropping as far as games played and the average that he's got, he's not going to be a 300 hitter anymore. And then that's when you have to consider if he, like in my opinion, he's arguably the best player of all time in baseball because you could like from the span of 2012 to even 2021. In 2021 he had a short season, but I would say 2022. 25 plus homers every year, 20 stolen bases almost every year. Like you couldn't stop him. And he's 32 now. So I would just put him at DH just for safety precautions. But yeah, Angels are the Angels, and I don't really need to show you the stats because I'm flat out confident in what I said about them that you don't really need to see. And if you're a baseball fan, you understand what I'm talking about. And if not, then just believe my words because the Angels are sometimes an embarrassment to the AL West. But other than that, we're going to get into our special segments. We're going to go back to Friction Friday. And this is where I want to talk about Star Wars. I love Star Wars, watched it ever since I was a kid. Still watch it now. I haven't been able to watch some of the other TV series just because I've been watching other stuff. But the Mandalorian franchise is getting a video game. Now, we don't know if it's going to be Din Djarin or it could be just be this new Mandalorian. I don't know if there's customizations where you can make it your own. But there's going to be a Mandalorian game that's set to release 2025, the latest 2026. It's going to be a first-person Mandalorian game. And it's going to be a more linear story. I know it's going to be developed by Respawn, the production company that made Jedi Survivor. But yeah, they're making that game. It's going to be first person shooter. Not going to be not going to be an open world like Survivor has been, but it'll be, you can go to different planets to find bounties, dead or alive, whatever the contract asks. Because this is the way. But yeah, the jetpack is going to be very helpful in this video game as far as dashing and vertical jumping. Now, I don't know about flying. Hopefully, they have that mechanic in there. If not, it is what it is. But as far as weapons, there's going to be a grappling hook, a wrist rocket, and a visor. Obviously, for visor for targeting enemies and stuff and things like that. As far as health, every time you successfully kill someone, your health will go up a little bit. And as far as the setting, it's going to be in the Galactic Empire setting. So similar to the Mandalorian setting now, but I think it's a little bit before that. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I'm excited. I'm not really a big on first person shooter games. I know Call of Duty is the obvious one, but ever since then, I've always, as far as Star Wars and Marvel, I've always been a third person, because Star Wars Outlaws is coming and it's going to be a third person shooter. So I just like third person more, just because I get to see the environment from a wider perspective as far as colors, but at the same time, it's cool to see it from the first person perspective too. And a good example is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Haven't been able to play that lately because of storage, but beautiful game. So shout out Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I highly recommend that game. But as far as damn, but as far as Movie Monday is concerned for today, I recently watched the first Dune movie, not the original, but the one with Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. I'm excited for the second one. It comes out this Friday. I've never read the books. I'm not really a book reader, which sucks because a lot of people say that the books are better than the movies. I've always just been a guy that just wants to go see the movie. But I gave the first Dune movie, Dune Part 1, I would give it a solid 8.5, just because of the pacing in the beginning was so slow. But the story is really good. The actors, the cast is incredible. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin was in there as an advisory role for his dad. And there's one. I don't remember her name, but she's famous for Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, and the later half of it's not Haley Atwell, but she's been in the most recent Mission Impossible movies, and I'm trying to get this. Rebecca Ferguson. The cast is phenomenal in Dune. I like the setting that it took place in, and the different groups of people that are on that planet. And I'm excited to see the second one. I know the first one, the Emperor wasn't really there, but from what I've heard, when the first one came out, which was like 2 or 3 years ago, they said they were going to make it maybe a 3 to 6 movie series. If it is 6 movies, great. If not, great. I will go see that movie, and I'll talk about it on a potential future Movie Monday episode. But until then, I will just do movies that I currently own or on HBO Max or streaming services like that. But yeah, Dune Part 2 comes out March 1st. I know that some theaters will have it the day before for a worldwide premiere. But I strongly suggest you go see that, because the first one was really good, and this one, I think it's going to be even better than the first. But on that note, I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. Hopefully, you have a good start to this week, and I will see you